All right, well, if we don't have any other brags, then I will go ahead and turn it over to Josh to introduce today's program.
Yeah, so our program today is our club's very own Virginia Ohler. She is the executive director with the West Tuality Habitat for Humanity, and she's here to provide us with an update from their organization.
Thank you, Josh. Thank you, everyone. I'm happy to be here. So I want to thank you for giving me an opportunity to address the club today. I looked through my notes, and the last time I talked to you was just about this time of year, but it was in 2017. So here we are. Habitat International changed our company motto, I guess you would say, and our new one is together we build strength, stability, self-reliance, and shelter. One of the things I've been struck by over the last couple of years since I became the executive director here is just how big a part the Rotary Club members have played in Habitat for Humanity here in Forest Grove. And it makes me think of that song, which I will not attempt to sing, but if not for you, I put the lyrics of the first verse here. Babe, I couldn't find the door. I couldn't even see the floor. I'd be sad and blue if not for you. So this is a picture from the News Times back in 1992. And this is the groundbreaking at our first house. And if I'm not mistaken, I think we got the land from Lauren Waltz. And this is Tim Showerman right here. He was our first president from 1992 to 1993. And this is a more recent home dedication ceremony. And we have Mike Hundley there in the picture with the homeowners doing that home dedication. So I thought it might be fun to take a poll. So I'm going to stop the screen share here for just a minute so I can see people raise their hands. So many Rotary Club members have been involved with Habitat for Humanity. I think I mentioned our first president from 92 to 93 was Tim Showerman. In 2006, it was Richard Kidd. In 2008, 9, and 10, it was Tom Rabe. In 2013, 14, 15, it was Mike Hundley, and again, Mike in 17, 18, 19. It has been Sue Nemchek, which is Greg's wife. She's not directly a Rotary member, but 2019, 2021. And then starting this summer, July 1st, Tom Rabe is back in the chair again. So, and a lot of other Rotarians I've seen on the lists of things among our donors and people participating in our events. The Eastons and the Nakajimas have been very important to us. Lauren Waltz, Jim Kane, Barry Fry, Michelle Thomas, Pat and Pete Truax, Sue and Greg Nemchek, Chuck and Betty Pritchard, Laura Thompson Owie, Scott Coffey, just to name a few. So since I can't name everybody, I thought we would do this little fun activity. So raise your hand if you've ever worked on a habitat build or repair job. So see a lot of hands going up. I'm going to check the second screen there. Yep. Okay, lots of hands. All right, hands down. Raise your hand if you've ever attended a habitat event, the gala, a home dedication, a walkathon. Yep, lots more hands. Gosh, look how many of you are involved. It's so amazing. Raise your hand if you've ever served on the board of directors, a habitat committee, the advisory panel, or an event committee. Yep, okay. Look at that, pretty amazing. So you guys are a remarkable bunch. If not for you, we would not be here. We changed to defining our service area by zip codes. So it's the 9 zip codes of Western Washington County. And that makes it so much easier for us to know now if anyone has, when people call and ask for service, we can tell whether they are in or out of our zip code service area. In new home construction, a lot of things are unchanged. We still are serving people between 30 and 60% of AMI. Our program is still based on the criteria of need, willingness to partner, and ability to pay. We're still doing a lot of green building. We are still an equal housing opportunity provider. But since 2017, we have served 115 persons just in our new construction and home repair programs. And each year we're serving about 300 people altogether total, including our mortgages and our counseling. These are just a few of the homes that we've completed since I spoke with you last in 2017. These two homes here were special for us because the home buyers were single older women. And statistically, they find that single older women are the most challenged segment of the population in terms of housing security. And so the mortgages on these homes are very, very low. The mortgage payment itself is about $150 a month, but then you have to add on to that for property taxes and that kind of thing. And the idea is that these homes will stay affordable even after they retire. In fact, one of the homeowners already did, and she will be able to continue to live in her home, which is fully ADA accessible. So changes in her health won't make her have to leave her home, and she will still be able to afford it just out of her Social Security check. Whoops. For some reason, are you guys still seeing my screen? Yes, okay. So this is our home repair program. We serve low-income, elderly, disabled, veterans, 30 to 80% of area median income. Most of the people that we actually serve in this program are at or below 30% of AMI. So this really should say 0 to 80% AMI. And we do a lot of work through interagency partnerships. Some of the work is very critical in terms of just homeowner safety and that kind of thing. This particular set of pictures up here, this homeowner had this, so this is a woman who's mentally and emotionally disabled. She lives by herself in a home where she used to live with her parents, but they both passed away. And so she's an elderly person now, has probably never worked in her life. When we got there, only one burner on the stove worked. One of the burners had actually lit fire and had burned these cabinets next to the stove. And so she wasn't using the stove at all. She was only preparing food in her microwave. And we did a lot of work for her. The kitchen floor was rotted through, so we replaced the kitchen subfloor and floor, put in a new sink and faucet, put in a new stove. You can see one here. Provided a new refrigerator, painted the kitchen, replaced the toilet, fixed the subfloor in the bathroom, cleaned up her yard, and put down all new bark dust. And so we also did some weather stripping around the front door. So she was much safer and more secure and able to live in her home after that work was done. This was a big project that we did. This family had, they did not have a working bathroom on the ground floor of their home, and they were both disabled, so neither one of them could access the bathroom, which was on the second floor. So they were making do camper style with a bucket that they emptied every day. This is one of the, you might say, smaller projects that we did, but what an improvement to the neighborhood. You can bet that the neighbors really appreciated this. So this is what it looked like before we went over with this old shed and all this mess. And our team replaced the shed and then built a new fence and cleaned that all up. So that's very nice. And then during COVID, we had some downtime. So our team went out and did some other projects. This is a picture of them installing windows in the Family Promise shelter. And they also did some tile work for the Cornelius Library. And I'm sorry, it's not advancing the slides properly, so I'm having to do it this way. So I do apologize for that. We still run our Homeowners Success Program the same way with the sweat equity, partnering people with community mentors. Each family has assignments that they do in a notebook. They actually go out and help build their own and their neighbors' homes. We do a lot of work around money management, budgeting, financial literacy. We also encourage people to use the year that they're in our program doing their sweat equity to think about what they need besides stable housing to make their lives work. So for example, we have a lady in our program right now that, you know, in her 30s just now went and got her GED, and she's pretty proud of herself. She's very excited about that. We've had a number of people get GEDs. We've had people go back and take English as a second language. We had one homeowner who actually had completed 2 years of college, and he went back and completed the other 2 years of college and got a bachelor's degree. And then we also work with homeowners to get grants for down payment assistance and that kind of thing to help promote the affordability of the house. We are a mortgage provider, so we abide by all the laws and rules that other mortgage companies do. We use the USDA 502 Direct and other special purpose loan programs as well. Sometimes we end up with stacked mortgages, but no matter what we do, it's always controlled by the affordability of the family. So the entire cost of the mortgage, so the principal, the interest, the homeowner's insurance, the property taxes, the homeowner association fee, if there is any, does not exceed 30% of their household income. So for most of our Habitat families, that means that their mortgage, everything all in, is under $700. In fact, I would say many of them are under $600. And we have a few that are around in the neighborhood of like $350. So when you figure it takes $200 a month just to cover your property taxes, you can bet that that is a very small market. Our restore, so there's a lot new that's happening with our restore. You might remember a few years ago it looked like this. We purchased the building in June of 2018. It now looks like this. So when we purchased it, we painted it. We had the parking lot repaved and restriped. We put a new roof on it and new HVAC heating and cooling for all of the finished areas of the building. It's a place where you can buy all kinds of beautiful furniture, building materials, lawn mowers, rakes, cabinets, which are great for your rental house. Sometimes they're good enough that you could actually use them in your home. They're great if you're looking for cabinets in a garage or workshop or garden shed. We have a lot of people that come in that do DIY makeovers with things. We have a whole social media program around that. So here's somebody that took this desk and converted it into this entertainment area bench storage unit thing. We use the restore. We always have at least one barrel going in the restore. This particular barrel was for the Boys and Girls Club. We have one all the time going that supports transitional housing and homeless shelters in the area. The restore is, it is also a recycling center. So we are one of the locations here in Washington County where you can take your electronics to be recycled. So computers, non-working televisions, anything electronic. We are the only remaining paint recycling depot at this end of all of Washington County. So the only one on this side of Hillsborough. We participate in the Oregon Bottle Drop Blue Bag program, and we run Cars for Home program, which is wonderful. It's an 877 number you can call and get rid of those non-running vehicles. And we also give that number out when we're doing repair work projects so that people can have junkers hauled away from their homes when we're cleaning up. This is a little flyer that we've distributed. Some you may have seen it. It talks about the economic impact of West Tuality Habitat for Humanity here in Washington County. So we leverage about $1.75 in benefits for every dollar that we get. So we are always looking for ways to piggyback benefits, to get more bang for our buck, to find ways to layer and structure things so that additional people, additional agencies and that kind of thing can benefit. Some of the benefits of course, are that homeownership is a terrific mechanism for breaking generational poverty cycles. There are only a few things that have been found to work. Education, of course, is key for breaking generational poverty cycles, but also homeownership. Those are probably the two most effective tools that they've ever found. We also address issues of diversity, equity, and inclusion. Habitat was actually born as we were born to address diversity and racial equity issues, specifically relating to homeownership. Homeownership in itself, there have been tons of studies done by the National Association of Realtors, the Housing and Urban Affairs of the federal government, a number of private agencies, Cornell Institute and others that have shown conclusively that homeownership promotes school success, family financial stability, participation in the community. People who own their homes are more likely to vote. They're more likely to attend church. They're more likely to be involved in civic and social organizations and activities. They have a higher perceived level of personal health, and there is a reduction in risky behaviors that goes with that. You don't have to lift a hammer to help. So here's some people who are drinking wine and partying and helping us to raise money for Habitat. You might recognize this familiar fellow right here in the middle. Here are some people who turned out for one of our golf tournaments. We do that every year in the fall. We are always looking for great candidates to be on our board of directors, to participate in our advisory panel, to join us as committee members, to work with our events and activities. And of course, you can always donate your stuff to the Restore. Another fun activity is team builds and events. Here's a picture pre-COVID, obviously, where we were hosting a group of folks from Wells Fargo. So John and Lazaro are both Rotary members from Wells Fargo. Coming attractions, I think it's always fun to kind of talk about what's coming up. We've done a number of improvements on our Restore. During the pandemic, we took the opportunity while the store was closed anyway to reset the store. If you've been in since last June, you will have noticed some of those changes. More are coming. We are having heat installed currently in the remaining portions of the building, which are currently unheated. December this year marks our 30th anniversary. So this affiliate was born in December of 1991, and we'll have a number of special events and activities and sales events and all kinds of things to celebrate that milestone. In June of this year, we will be having our Hearts for Habitat Gala that is traditionally held every year in February, but this year, because of the pandemic, we've moved it to June. We have 3 homes under construction currently at our Kid Court project, and we are in the process of acquiring land for whatever is going to come next. When these 3 homes are done, we expect to be finished with these homes in the next 2 to 2.5 years, something like that. One thing that's on our radar that we have not launched yet, but hope to do in the near future, and that is taking a group from this community to go do an international build. And also Habitat International is probably as well known for its disaster work as for anything else. We're hoping to take a team down to Southern Oregon to help do some of the rebuilding after the Oregon wildfires there, COVID permitting, this fall or next year. Always looking for ways to participate with the community in disaster readiness. So that's something that we're looking forward to. So that's pretty much what's been happening and what's coming up for West Tuality Habitat for Humanity. Any comments or questions?
I'd like to comment. Virginia is modest. Without Virginia, we wouldn't be anywhere. And she does so much for Habitat for Humanity. And Virginia, thank you. You've been a wonderful leader since you've been with us all these years. And just, it's been 10 years since I've led this organization before. And I am amazed at how many more things we're doing. much more efficient and productive we are, and that's all about Virginia. So thank you. And of course, the volunteers, of which we've had many. I also like to, I know Mike's not on the call, but Mike led the board for, I think it was 7 or 8 years. He just did a wonderful job in that. Jerry Herber is always on the construction sites. I don't know how often he comes out to build sites. He's there practically every day. And Ray Giansani, a former Rotarian, was the vision behind our Restore when it first opened back in 2008, and it's still producing money to build houses. So it's a great organization, and as Virginia said, we are looking for great board members. So if you have some time you want to spend with us, please let us know. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. It was beautiful. Jim?
Tom, you're right on, but you've also been a big factor in this. In Virginia, you are definitely carrying the torch, but there's a person in our audience today, Richard Kidd. Without him, this organization probably would not exist or have near the success that it's had. Richard is not only a know-how, but he's a do-how and do it. So Richard, our hats are to you, not only as a Rotarian, but as a huge Habitat for Humanity contributor.
Yep.
Thank you for the comments, Jim, but I haven't done anything that I haven't convinced other people to do.
Well, just within the last 2 hours, Richard was in my office talking about a future habitat project, and he was on my list to thank, and unfortunately I skipped over your name. Sorry, Richard, but the passion he brings to the organization and always brings is remarkable. And Richard, I agree with what's been said about you. It's just amazing. Thank you.
And to the Rotarians, several of you I've already talked to about being on the board, and I've got at least 4 openings coming up starting the 1st of July for only a 3-year assignment. And I never lie, only 1 meeting a month.
What time is the meeting this afternoon again? 4 o'clock?
Yes, I'll be there.
I'll be there. It's a great organization to participate in, folks. We're serious about that. It'll reward you forever.
Thank you, Virginia, for your presentation.
Yes.
It does help spread the word of what we do and how we do it in our area. And thank you very much for being our executive director, because like Tom said, it's been very nice to work with you. You have really helped the board and the members accomplish whatever we need to do. You help us get it done. And I see another one that we haven't mentioned a lot of is Carl Heisler, another one of the players that has been a real player for us in the past.
Yeah, it's been my honor and privilege to serve the community here, and I just can't reiterate enough, really, if not for you, we would not be here. So give yourselves all a big hand. Yes, you're an amazing group. This is an amazing community, and together, wow, just look what we get done. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I have a question. In the past, back when Jeff Ferris was president, his presidential year, we did a service project where we all went out to Coop's Corner and we laid all the visqueen down inside the footings of the house, and then we did another club service day where we all did projects on those units. And so my question is, I'm not sure if our club service committee has been working with you, or if those Rotary service days are, if we're looking at doing those in the future again, because those were fun opportunities for a couple hours of, going down there and using hammers and nails and screwdrivers and having Richard Kidd bark orders and stuff. It was fun. So is that an opportunity that's coming around again anytime soon?
So hopefully so. We are not using any volunteers right now, except our core volunteers. who work multiple days a week and have been through all of our COVID safe practices training and that kind of thing. But we are very much hoping that as the vaccination rate in the community increases and as the weather kind of opens up here, we are super excited. I will say, Janine, that the Rotary Club has approached us several times just in the last couple of months asking if there was any hope of a service project here yet, and we want to have you out, so we'll try and make that happen as soon as we can when everybody can.
Janine, I thought I heard at spring training last week that there's that District Governor or that the District Governor-elect Jim is planning on having a Habitat Service Day with Rotary. Did I hear that somewhere?
No, you heard that correctly. So that gives you star points for listening to that 2-hour presentation. But what we will see coming up in the district in Rotary year 21-22 under District Governor Jim Boyle is that he is coordinating the district with the local Habitat for Humanity liaison outfit overseer of all the habitat and opportunities for Rotarians and Rotary clubs to do some sort of collaborative activity is on the horizon. That will happen next year. So, but it will be something that's coordinated through those two larger entities, where what I was really asking is more what Virginia's talking about is something much more local.
Virginia mentioned our core volunteers. Those are the volunteers that volunteer on Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 8 to 1. And we can always use somebody on that team, and we will give them the training necessary to join the team to work for us. And again, Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 8 to 1 is our work days, and we'll be delighted to have any Rotarian come down and work individual with the team those days.
And Richard, you're working down there. Is that 22nd place off of D?
That's correct. 22nd place between D and E Street. And right now we have a complex down there where we were building 7 homes, 4 of which are already occupied, and the other 3, the foundations are in, and the floors are in, and some of the walls are up on one of them. So you will see a lot of activity there as we move along.
Now, when that particular site is built out, Richard, do you guys have another site picked out?
We are negotiating as we speak. That's what Tom and Virginia talked about, that we're negotiating for a piece of property right now that will, if we purchase that tomorrow, then we will have land to allow us to build 7 more homes.
Nice.
In Forest Grove. We're still looking for land other places in our service area. We'd be delighted to have somebody donate some land in Gaston or Cornelius or Buxton, Cherry Grove. We'll build in any of those places if we had the land.
And your service area is pretty much everything that you just described?
That is correct. Virginia, if you remember her presentation, she showed you the map in her slideshow of our new service area. And it's defined by zip codes. And there's the area right there.
Yep.
So anything in there is our area. The area that used to be Hillsboro's area over on the right side of that property, of that outline, is now part of Portland's Habitat for Humanity. Hillsboro West Virginia, help me out here. Willamette West dissolved and their area went to Portland. So we're the Washington County folks.
Got it. Do aside from a number of Rotarians, and I'm certain there must be a few other community members here, are there members or people that help the humanity habitat from within this entire region that all meet here in Forest Grove?
Yes.
Yes. So we're
looking for diversity on the board. We look for specific talents that will support our mission statement, and we look for people that live around the area. We're really right now recording board members from Gaston, and for the future there, we're looking at Cornelius specifically if we can find, and North Plains, Banks. Those are places that we would like to have some local representatives on our board, and we do have a minimum right now of 4 openings starting in July.
Great. Well, thanks for that information.
Thank you, Virginia, for being our program today. And thank you to all of the Rotarians that support and are involved with Habitat. It definitely is an asset to our community. So round of applause to all of you.